Hello, welcome back to season 2 of The Uncut. I'm your host, Trena Laine. Yes, it is the month of May here of 2025, but those who know me, I don't feel like there's no need to be rushing things. Plus, I'm going to be honest with you, I've been a bit busy with my time and energy. And as my friend just said to me, who are you? How dare you not pick up, recording episodes a little bit sooner for season 2? I published a book, my new memoir, my first book, Dear Aaron. And it's everything that kind of encompasses the things, in my 21 years journey with my husband, ourselves. Really, it's a book about ourselves. And, the hustle culture, the burnout, we all experience loss and grief in different shapes and form. And here we are. You can also get the book available on Amazon, ebook, paperback. Indigo 2 now actually has it. This was just in like the other day. And we had such a successful book launch back in April. It just brought community together, brought people and humans and people who stepped up to help out and participate and sponsor. And my heart's just been overflowing. Plus, I'll be honest too, Aaron's dad passed away earlier this year. So we've had a couple funerals for him as well, celebrations of life. And, as this brings people together and my grandma's 90th, it's actually been a lot leading into the 5th month here of 2025. But here I am recording the first welcome of season 2 of The Uncut. And my favorite thing that I've been telling myself and, sharing with others is, this constant yo-yo of thinking we need to be somewhere by a certain time when it comes to our livelihood and our career. And I've been kind of doing more of a slow burn and being intentional with my time. And I think that's kind of the most important is, how do you want to be intentional? I've said this over and over. Who do you want to spend time with? How do you want to spend that time? And investing in ourselves is probably one of the most rewarding. And sometimes it's not even just about having that busy schedule of being on this constant go all the time, right? Oh, I got to get to this, I got to do that, because that's for my personal investment, right? That's my wellness. Sometimes it's also just having the minute to pause. And I'm going to be bringing on some guest speakers over this next season to also just share kind of their insights, some tips, some of the things they're practicing, the things maybe that they have learned, healed, created, that bravery and that resilience of like, how can I help someone else do the same thing? And this is what The Uncut is just being human and sharing stories and being okay to talk about our higher self, our success and our ambitions, but also where are we in the whole picture of everything. So season 2 is going to be exciting. I'm still obviously in my grief and healing journey, moving through everything that I need to, or how I also just need to be moving through things. And one thing I kind of been telling myself lately too is, there's no guarantee tomorrow. We all know death is a certainty. It's going to happen to all of us. But you know what? Do the things. Do it messy. Do it scared. Do without certainty. Maybe it's just an experiment. You're still figuring it out. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as perfection. Stop comparing yourself to others. Know that you can adjust things just a little later. You have resources. This is probably human beings that and make sure it's the right people, because I've talked about this before in past episodes, or if you've jumped on any of my master classes. And sometimes things are just going to be uncomfortable. I can tell you that already. Like, I've had my share of things where I'm just like, this is still just very surreal to me. And I still have a hot minute here coming, close to 15 months since my late husband's passing, where I'm like, that's right. I can't believe he died. Aaron, I can't believe you died. And here I am moving along, and I wrote a book, and I'm bringing people together, and I'm just having conversations, and I'm shaping things intentionally. Again, being intentional with my time and moving through all the things that I know that I need to be doing. It takes bravery. It's a different type of resilience, I can tell you that. I've continued to learn to surrender in my healing journey. And again, I don't need to have everything figured out. If this seems to be you too, you don't have to have everything figured out. And I think it's okay to process what you're feeling and emotions and things that are just creating blockage. My journey right now too is I still kind of have like one foot kind of in my old life, and then the other foot is in this new chapter. That's okay too. And I don't know how much time I'm going to need. It doesn't matter. That's just what's going on. And to also just give yourself that permission to say, you know what, I don't need to do anything more today, maybe this week, this month. That was me. Maybe what I've done enough is good enough for today. And that was launching Dear Erin, my book. That took everything in me. And I was like, the podcast will circle around when it needs to circle around. And I feel like ready for it, because this is a lot of time and energy, and sharing time and energy also with others, right? So allow yourself grace, hold what is closest to your heart and do what you need to do. Season 2 is still going to be the uncut. Everything's coming in raw, coming in real. We're speaking truth. Nothing's taboo here on this end. And here we go, you guys. Thanks for being a part of this and continuing to walk in good faith. We'll see you in the next episode.